guys, Chiefmate John Zero at your service once again. So for today's video, I will be showing to you the tank plan of our ship, which is used, no? And it's very important for a chief officer as well as marine deck officers for us to locate the ballast tanks or the non-service tanks as well as the tanks that are used for our fuel. We need to determine the location of each tank that we are using for, like for example, we are uprighting a ship. So we are going to give the pumping order. So we need to determine the tank numbers in order for us to give accurate actions for the list of the ship. Not just only for the list of the ship, but also for the trim of the ship. So we can control the list of the, we can control the trim of the vessel by pumping in or pumping out uh, the fore-peak tank or the after-peak tank. So we just need to determine the number of these tanks in order for us to give accurate orders. Alright guys, so this is the tank plan of our ship. Okay, so this color green here, these are the tanks used by the engineers. It means that it is being used as a storage for our fuel, whether marine diesel oil or the HFO or the lube oil, the thermal oil. So these tanks are the tanks that they are using. So as you can see here, you have the number 26, 25, 54, 44. Okay, and we have here 22, 65, 23, and then 24 on the starboard side. So these are the tanks that are used by the engineers. So even if it is not within our jurisdiction, however, we need to determine it simply because it affects the ship's stability. Like for example, in this tank here, we have 23 and 24. That means that it is on your port side and on your starboard side. So if the other tank is uneven to the other, or the content of the other tank is more than the other, so it will going to list the vessel on one side. So that is why we need to determine what tank they are using in the voyage. All right, so let's move on to the important tanks for the deck department, which is the double bottom tanks. So we have how many tanks? We have one, and then we have here two, and then on the other side three. So 3 is for the port side and 4 is for the starboard side, which means that there is a bulkhead in between. And then we have here 5, which is on the starboard side, and 6 on the port side. Also, it has a bulkhead. Okay, so it is very important, especially for general cargo or container ship, to fill this one up simply because we have deck cargos here, and it will going to pull up the center of gravity of the vessel, that does make the vessel unstable if these ballast tanks here are empty or slack, right? So that is the importance of these tanks. Okay. Okay, what else? Right. So um we have also wing tank 13 and 14. So on our ship, we are not using these tanks here, 11, 12, 9, and 10. So these are non-service tanks, which means that it is totally drained. But we need to inspect it as per PMS or preventive maintenance schedule every 6 months, right? And we have also 15 and 16, 15 for the port side and 16 for the uh, 15 for the starboard side and 16 for the port side. So as you notice, there is a pattern, no? So for the port side, that is uh, even number, while on the starboard side, that is odd numbers. So 15 is for the starboard side. You have there 23, which is on the starboard side as well. So always remember that odd number tanks are located on the starboard side, while even number tanks are located on the port side in general. uh, but it doesn't mean that it applies to all ships, but it applies to many ships. All right. So again, we are only using wing tank 13 in wing tank 14. So the rest, these are non-service tanks, but we need to inspect this one every 6 months as per preventive maintenance schedule. So these wing tanks, these are the tanks that are used to upright the vessel. So as you can see here, you have the number. So if we are going to give the order to pump in or pump out, at least we already know what is the number, tank number. Pump in, pump out, wing tank 13 or wing tank 14. Right? So that is the importance of this tank plan. Also, we can determine the effect, no? So as you can see, the tank is located forward part, no, on the forward part. So the most dominant part of the tank is located forward, which means that if we are going to fill up the tank up until 100%, it will have the effect of trimming the ship by the bow. So not only for the four-peak tank, we have the four-peak tank here, which is also a ballast tank. And then we have also uh, after peak tank, which is numbered 7 and 8. 7 for the starboard side and 8 for the port side. For the port peak tank, we only have one tank here. So which means that it is greatly affected by pre-surface effect, and it should be either 20% less or 100% to reduce the effect of pre-surface. What I mean to say is to fill up the tank 20% less or to fill up the tank 100%. Okay. So even if we have those tanks, no, which can affect the ship's trim, the after peak, and then we have also the fore peak here. We have the fore peak here, which can affect the trimming, no, of the ship forward and aft. We have also the wing tank, which can affect also the trimming of the ship, but not that much because as you can see, the wing tank 13 and 14 is located nearly amidships, but it affects the trim simply because it is located, the dominant part is located on the forward part. If you are going to pump out, then it means it will going to trim the ship by the stern, and if you are going to pump in, it will going to trim the ship by the bow. right? So the same effect with the forepeak tank and the afterpeak tank, right? So this is the tank plan, and it is very important for us, no, to determine certain actions on board the vessel. If you are the chief officer or the marine deck officer, then you should know about this. So that would be all for our video. I hope that you have learned something from our discussion. So before I end this, let me have a shout out to Kirby Cabrubias, member of UC Marinos. So thank you for supporting our group. And to all the members of UC Marinos, once again, shout out to all of you, to my co-instructors, fellow instructors, my colleagues, and to my shipmates. So thank you very much, and God bless.
Fly high butterfly.